Buonasera, mi chiamo Sandra Pascoletti. I'm your language coach. Benvenuti alla presentazione Guide to the Pronunciation of the Italian Sounds K and G. K and G are perhaps the most difficult sounds that a learner of Italian has to learn to read and pronounce. So the aim of this presentation is to guide beginner students to a full understanding and a competent pronunciation of the Italian sounds ch, k, and j, g. The basic concept is that k and g are pronounced and read and spelled in one way when they're followed by a, o, and u, but then change in front of e and I. We'll have a look at a few examples, but first I'd like to show you something. If we take the letter k or ch, followed by the 5 vowels, so C plus A, C plus O, C plus U, C plus E, and C plus I, these syllables in Italian are read as ca, co, cu, ce, ci. So when we have C followed by A, O, and U, we have a hard sound, k, ca, co, cu. But when we have E and I, the sound softens, becomes che and chi. Similarly, with G followed by the 5 vowels, G-A, G-O, G-U, G-E, and G-I, these syllables are pronounced as ga, go, gu, je, ji. So again, we have a hard sound in front of A, O, and U, but then the sound softens in front of E and I. So what if we want to have a hard sound all throughout the k or g? What if we want to say ka, ko, ku, ke, ki, or ga, go, gu, ge, gi? And also, what if we want to have a soft sound throughout the sequence? Cha, cho, chu, che, chi, and ja, jo, ju, je, ji. We need to change the spelling. So that's where things get a little bit complicated. Let's look at the pronunciation of the k sound. We have the syllables ka, ko, ku, and then ke and ki. Repeat after me the first 3 words. Ka, carota. Ko, Coca-Cola. Ku, cuore. And now repeat the last 2 words. Che, bruschetta. Chi, chiave. As you can see, there is a H between the C and the E, and the C and the I. In Italian, the H is silent. It's just a marker that tells us that we need to pronounce a hard sound. Without the H, Italians would read che and chi. So we put the H to make a hard sound, che, chi. This is quite difficult for the native English speakers because they're used to pronouncing CH as a ch sound. So as a memory tip, I found a word, one of the few words in English that are spelled CH but are pronounced as a k. This is the word chemist. So try to remember that a chemist does not sell cheese. There is no ch sound in the word chemist. Also, the word chiave means key in English, and coincidentally, both chiave and key have a k sound. So that might help you remember chi, chiave, k, chiave. Another memory tip could be the fact that the word hard starts with H. So H like hard. Always remember, when you see a H, it's always a hard sound. There is no exception to this rule. Now let's have a look what happens when we have the soft sound. We have cha, cho, chu, and then che and chi. Repeat after me the first 3 words. Cha, ciao. Cho, cioccolato. Chu, Chuf chuf. As you can see, we have an I between the CA, the CO, and the CU. The I is silent. It's just a marker that tells us that we need to read a soft sound. So instead of ka, ko, ku, we need to read cha, cho, chu. And pay attention, it's not ciao or cioccolato, but ciao, cha, ciao, cho, cioccolato. So again, the I is silent. We don't read it. You probably heard or said the word ciao before without ever thinking why there is an I or if there is any spelling rule behind. But now you know. But just remember, it's not ciao or cio or ciu. It's cha, cho, chu. So now let's repeat the last two words. Ce, Cesare. Ci, cinema. In this case, what I want you to notice is that we say cinema and not cinema. When we want to write the sound C, the syllable C, we actually spell SI. So C would be SI and se would be spelled SE. This is ce and chi. Let's recap the sound k and the sound ch. Repeat after me after each pair of words. Carota, ciao. Ca. Bruschetta, Cesare. Che, c'è. Chiave, cinema. Chi, ci. Coca-Cola, cioccolato. Co, cio. Cuore, ciuf ciuf. Cu, ciu. And remember that a chemist does not sell cheese. There is no ch in the word chemist. CH is always a hard sound. If you want, you can pause and practice comparing the ka, the cha sound, the ke and che, the ki and chi, ko and cho, ku and chu. And practice also how to spell them, how to write them. Therefore, as you already probably understood, the correct pronunciation is not bruschetta, but bruschetta. Italians never ever pronounce bruschetta, so please don't say bruschetta, it's bruschetta, okay? Now let's look at the hard sound g. We have the syllables ga, go, gu, and then ge and gi. Repeat the first three words after me. Ga, gallo. Go, gondola. Gu, gusto. So these are just G-A, G-O, G-U, ga, go, gu. Pretty straightforward. Now, let's repeat the last two words. Ge, spaghetti. Gi, funghi. As you can see, we have a H between the G and the E and the G and the I. As we said before, the H is silent. It's just a marker that tells us that we need to pronounce a hard sound. Without the H, Italians would say J, G. So that's why we put the H, so that we know we need to read a hard sound, ge, gi. The word spaghetti is known worldwide, so probably you already said this word before, but you never thought about the H or why there is a H there. So now you know. With the word fungi, I want you to notice it's fungi and not fungi, okay? The singular is fungo. The plural takes an I. We want to keep the hard sound, so in order to go from fungo to fungi, we need to put a H. If you forget to write the H, you'd have fungo, fungi. And that's not the correct pronunciation. So remember again, H like heart. Every time you see a H, pronounce a heart sound. There is no exception to this rule. Now we practice pronouncing the J sound. We have Ja, Jo, Ju, and then J and G. So repeat the first three words after me. Ja, giallo. Jo, giorno. Giù, giusto. As you can see, again, we have an I between the G and the A, the G and the O, and the G and the U. The I is silent. It's just a marker that tells us that we need to soften the sound. So instead of ga, go, gu, we read ja, jo, ju. And please remember that it's ja and not gia. So we say giallo, not giallo. It's gio, not gio. So we say giorno. It's giù instead of giù. So we don't say giusto, but giusto. Similarly, we don't say Giovanni or Giorgio, but Giovanni and Giorgio. Now, repeat the last two words after me. Gelato. Giraffa. These are probably more familiar to you. Some countries like Australia have imported the word gelato or gelati, and they spell it the same. And the word giraffa is very similar to the English word giraffe, and they're spelled pretty much the same way. So we are now ready to recap the J and the G sounds. Repeat after me each pair of words. Gallo, giallo. Ga, già. Spaghetti, gelato. Ge, ge. Funghi, giraffa. Gi, gi. Gondola, giorno. Go, gio. Gusto, giusto. Gu, giù. I would like you to pay attention now to two pairs of words that I put there. One is gallo, giallo, and the other one is gusto, giusto. As you can see, they're pretty much identical except for the I. But the I makes a huge difference in the way these words are pronounced and also in the meaning. Gallo means rooster, whereas giallo means yellow. So the way you pronounce words sometimes can make a huge difference. So try to remember gallo, giallo. Ga, già, gallo, giallo. Similarly, gusto and giusto, we have GU on one side, GIU on the other side. The only difference is the I. Try to remember, maybe take it as a memory tip or a kind of rhyme in your head if you repeat gusto, giusto, gusto, giusto. This actually means right taste, gusto, giusto. So it might help you remember, especially when you're eating something in an Italian restaurant. If you want, now you can pause the video and practice to write and to read the words with the sounds ga, ja, ge, je, gi, ji, go, jo, and gu, ju. Let's see now, what happens if we put an S in front of ka, ko, ku, ke, and ki? Not much really. It's just like putting an S in front of ka, ko, ku, ke, ki. What I mean is that we pronounce these syllables as ska, sko, sku, ske, and ski. So repeat after me the first three words now. Ska, scarpa. scopa. Scultura. And the last two words, schema, schivo. As you may see, you might notice that the H is again between the C and the E and the C and the I. You can also notice that the word schema is pretty much identical to the word scheme, where there is also an S-C-H-E, schema. So this might help you remember to pronounce a sk sound. And always remember that when you see a H, we have a hard sound. The H is always associated to a hard sound. There is no exception to this rule. Now, what if I want to put S in front of cha, cho, chu, che, and chi? Well, that makes a huge difference instead. The sound is totally changed. We actually obtain a sh sound, a soft sound, sh, like the word English. So we have the syllables sha, sho, shu, and then she and she. Repeat after me the first three words. Sha, sciarpa. Scio, sciocco. Sciù, prosciutto. As you can see, we have an I between the C and the A, the C and the O, the C and the U, like before. The I, again, is silent. It's just a marker that tells us that we need to soften the sound. But instead of saying scha, scho, schu, or sche, schi, we say sha, sho, shu, she, and she. Also notice that it's not sciarpa or sciocco, and it's not prosciutto. As I said, the I is silent. So you need to say sha, sciarpa, like sharp in English, sciocco, and prosciutto. Now let's repeat just the last two words. Sce, pesce, sci, scivolo. We are now ready to recap the sounds sk and sh. Repeat after me each pair of words. Scarpa, sciarpa. Sca, scia. Schema, scena. Sche, sce. Schivo, scivolo. Schi, sci. Scopa, sciocco. Sco, scio. Scultura, prosciutto. Scu, sciù. I would like to focus now on the pair of words scarpa, sciarpa, sca, scia. As you can see, they only differ for the letter I, which makes a huge difference because the I tells us that instead of a hard sound ska, we need to soften the sound and pronounce sha. As a memory tip, you might take into account that these are both items that you wear. Scarpa is a shoe which is in contact with the hard ground, so scarpa is something hard, whereas sciarpa, which means scarf, is something soft that you put around your neck. So sciarpa is soft. Scarpa, hard. Sciarpa, soft. If you want, now you can pause the video and practice to write and read the words with the sounds ska, sha, ske, she, ski, shi, sko, sho, and sku, shu. Ah, facciamo pratica. Now it's your turn to practice. I'm going to give you 1 minute from the time that I stop talking. 1 minute for you to try and read each of these words. Just try, do your best, don't worry too much. When I resume talking, then I will read one word at a time, and you will have the opportunity to repeat after me. Okay? So now go. Ah, I'm back. How did you go? Okay, now I'm going to read each word out loud and give you a few seconds after me to repeat these words. Pronti? Occhio, macchia, scopo, fascia, giacche, astuccio, giocattolo, chiesa, gente, amiche, cinese, pacchi, cucchiaio. Oh, this one is difficult. Hold on. Cucchiaio, cucchiaio, cucchiaio. Sciame, caschi, bicchiere, pesche, ciabatta, zucchina, cucciolo, cera, maschera, maschio, ghiro, archivio, parcheggio, greci, bilancia, camice, cimice. Che cos'è cimice? Cimice? Questa è una cimice. This is a cimice. Che schifo, una cimice. Che schifo means it's disgusting. As you can see, in this sentence, we have pretty much all the k, sk, and ch sounds. So, if you remember it, it might be a helpful memory tip. Che schifo, una cimice. Bravissimi! Well done on completing this presentation. I really hope you found it helpful, but most of all, I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. Here is my email address, sandra.languagecoach@gmail.com. I'm also on Facebook and Twitter at Learn Italian, Learn English. You can message me from Facebook if you want to, and if you follow my page, you'll find posts about grammar tips, news, cultural and historical elements, curiosities, suggestions, and anything that might help close the gap and build a bridge between Italian and English. I also have a website where you can find helpful resources like this presentation and other downloadable files. My website is learnitalianlearnenglish.wordpress.com. It's worth keeping an eye on it. Well, that's all. Grazie mille e arrivederci. Arrivederci a tutti. Ciao!